Embarking on a journey to becoming a published author is akin to running a marathon, not a quick sprint. It's a winding path that demands more than just writing talent. It calls for grit, determination, and the kind of resilience that helps you bounce back from setbacks. My name is Dennis Schleicher, and I'm an associate agent with Talcott Notch Literary LLC located in Milford, Connecticut. I'm the author of two books called one Is He Nuts? The second one is called Scripture Up. I specialize in the Christian genre as a Christian literary agent. But today I want to share with you some of my expertise. I am the past president of the Connecticut Authors and Publishers Association. I'm the PR director, and I still hold a board position with them. So whether you're planning your first manuscript or navigating the labyrinths of the publishing world, the key to crossing that exclusive and elusive finish line is continuous improvement and unwavering persistence. If you're ready to not only start, but also complete this incredible journey, you're in the right place. I put together 10 meticulous, curated accounts and steps paired with incredible advice that could serve as your compass in the exciting but yet demanding world of authorship. Here's what you should absolutely know. Number one, genre and audience. Before starting writing, plan the structure of your book. Outline, chapters can be a useful guide. Now that's exactly what I did when I wrote Is He Nuts? When you look at the chapters and the outlines, I created a separate Word document and I kind of paired an outline of what I wanted. And it kind of gave me the format of how I was going to tell my memoir and my transformative journey. I also did bullet points and subchapter titles. So that's what I'm going to get into now. If you look at, let's see, prelude. Okay, chapter 1, punishment for confusion. And I put underneath chapter 1, then I put a subchapter title. And I would always take a quote from a well-known person. In this case, I quoted Ellen DeGeneres. We need more kindness, more compassion, more joy, more laughter. I definitely want to contribute to that. The next, in chapter 2, I quoted Barbara Bush because I love Barbara Bush. The chapter title, and you can see right here, in chapter 2, and then there's the chapter title, and there's the subchapter title. It's called The Study in Contradiction. The quote by Barbara Bush: I firmly believe that we cannot tolerate discrimination against any individuals or groups in our country. Such treatment always brings with it pain and persecution, hate and intolerance. Barbara Bush. So that's an example of how you can go about that if you're writing nonfiction. Number 2, you want to conduct a proper outline and planning. Before you start writing, plan and structure of your book. Outlining chapters also can be a useful guide. So again, you can write a beginning, a middle, and an end when you're outlining your chapters. In my case, I just told the story. And I'm going to get into the editing process later. But the story was key, was just to get it out on paper. I always say to fellow YouTubers that want to be YouTubers, I say you need to just hit record and go and do. A lot of people are like, oh, my hair doesn't look good today, or my makeup's not on. You just have to hit record. And that's my biggest advice, is hit record. But when writing, you have to start typing. Or in my case, it was dictating. So that's outlining and planning. Number 3, writing routine. Consistency is key. Set a writing schedule and stick to it. Consider setting a word count goal for each day or week. Now, in my case, there are 57,000 words in my hardback, and I didn't really set a daily goal. I set more of daily hours that I wanted to put into it when I was writing. But I do like that concept of setting a word count. So whether it's if you do 1,000 words a day in 50 days, you could have 50,000 words. And that's right there your manuscript. It all depends on your individual style. So that's about writing routine. Number 4, feedback. Share your work with trusted friends, families, or writing groups to get constructive feedback. This is key. So many times, or focus groups. You can join these groups on Facebook. They're private. So sometimes you can get some really good feedback that can hone and craft your writing skill. So feedback is key. Number 5, editing. And that's where I'm going to go into my biggest, I guess you could say, hurdle is being dyslexic, but I'm dyslexic in doing, and I know how to make that happen. So editing, the phrase is as critical as writing. Whether you self-edit or hire a professional, it's vital to produce clean, polished work. Now, I am a huge advocate of hiring a professional literary editor. It's like if you're a real estate agent, you don't want to sell your own house. You want to hire a real estate agent that you trust. If you're a lawyer and on trial, you don't want to hire yourself. You want to hire a professional lawyer. So that's why I'm adamant about finding a professional literary agent, or I'm sorry, a professional literary editor. And my advice to that would be interview, interview, and interview. Ask them if you can send them a sample chapter and see their work. I think the red pen is the biggest and most amazing invention. I love seeing those red marks. So the more that editor is going to, use the red ink to mark up your manuscript, you're getting your money's worth. But you have to have a relationship with them. So so in my case, my publisher paid for my editor, and that was my advance. And then they put it through the publishing house editor, which was Catherine Watkins. And they always get credit in the front of the book under the copyright page. So you'll see right off the bat, Catherine Watkins is receiving, it will say cover design. Cedar Fort Publishing and Media, Springville, Utah, CFI Imprints of Cedar Fort Inc., 2019. It has the ISBN number. Cover design by Jeff Harvey. Cover design copyrighted by Cedar Fort Inc., edited by Trina Codler, Catherine Watkins, and Caitlin Broswick. Printed in the US. I mean, it gives you all the information right there that you need. Actually, it's interesting. When I go into a bookstore, that's the first page I open to is the copyright section because I want to see what year the book was printed. So, number 6, publishing options. Decide between traditional publishing and self-publishing. Each has its own pros and cons. I'm going to break those down briefly. Traditional publishing. This route is more comprehensive, but offers a prestige and usually a wider reach. You'll need a query letter, and often you'll need a literary agent to get started. Myself, as a literary agent, this is what I do, is I develop relationships with acquisitions editors and I sell them your manuscript. Now, self-publishing is a whole genre in itself, and I have many videos in this playlist on self-publishing. Self-publishing, this gives you more control, but also means you're responsible for quality control, marketing, and distribution. Platforms like Amazon Kindle, direct publishing make this easier than ever. I gotta say, but self-publishing, there's a lot of I'm finding, because I get Kindle Unlimited free, and well, I mean, I pay $6.99 a month or whatever it is for it, and as I can tell, I can spot a self-titled book cover a mile away, usually. But there have been times that I've read free books on Kindle, and I'm like, this is self-published. This isn't even done through, because you can tell the quality of the editing is not up to par. So you really need to invest a lot. But where I make, 20 cents a book or 15 cents a book that I sell, self-publishing, you can make anywhere from $1 to $10 a book. It depends on the quantity that you order. But you hold all the responsibility. You got to pay for the printing up front. You got to pay for so much. So, I'm not a fan of self-publishing, but if that's your avenue, I'm all for it. I'll support you no matter what. But you do, with that being said, you need to be responsible for marketing, whether you traditionally publish or not, because it doesn't matter what kind of publishing you do. You are still the marketer, which is important. Okay, number 7, literary agent. That's what I am, a Talcott Notch Literary in Milford, Connecticut. If you go the traditional route, you'll likely need a literary agent who believes in your work and will pitch to publishers. This is what I do. And I'm in the office usually every Wednesday, and work from home a lot. So it's a lot of work, but it's rewarding. And I gotta say, being an agent is been a blessing. A literary agent. Okay, number 8, legalities and logistics. Understanding the copyright laws, and make sure you read any contracts carefully before, especially concerning rights and royalties. Now, this is what I love about an agent. So, an agent, like my agent, I have an agent. Her name is, oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank? Gina Panettiere. And she's a very well-known agent. I actually work for her. And she negotiated the copyright law to be reverted back to me, because if this book went out of print, I would have to wait 70 years after I died to be able to have those rights reverted back to me. I think it was Winnie the Pooh or something. They just had a dispute because they had to wait 70 years after the author, or one of those. If you remember which one it was, let me know. I think it was Winnie the Pooh. So she negotiated that. She also negotiated a higher, she takes care of all the legalities, all the copyrights, and that's what I do as an agent, which is a lot of fun, and it's rewarding. Okay, number 9, and then I'm gonna have some bonus tips for y'all. Number 9, whether you're self-published or going traditional routes, be prepared to market your book. Utilize social media, book readings, and author websites to connect with readers. Now, I'm not a fan of doing book signings. I believe in doing book events. When you do a book event and you talk about your journey or what you make it an event, people will come. And when they come, they will buy your book. So, because you're placing yourself as the expert within that genre or field. Number 10, last but not least, but I do have some bonuses for you. We want to be persistent. Practice persistency. Rejection is part of the process. Don't get disheartened. Keep writing, submitting, and improving. Now, I always say that you haven't made it as an author until you get a 1-star review, because that means that people are talking about you. And I learned from all of my reviews. So if you get I always ask people, will you give me an honest review on Amazon? I don't ask for a 5-star review. But ultimately, everybody wants to get that 5 stars. I say, will you give me an honest review? That's what I ask for, because it's up to you to be honest with your review. Okay, so being a published author is not just about writing, it's about perseverance. Learning the business and constantly honing your craft, it's a marathon, not a sprint. The key to keep writing and improving, becoming a published author is rewarding but challenging, and it's an endeavor. It's definitely an endeavor. So I got some bonus tips for you. Number one, craft your improvement. You're all, constantly craft and improve. Always be open to learning, reading widely, and there's a fly in here and it's driving me crazy. I'm sorry. So you want to constantly be improving this. You want to, number two, networking. Constantly network. You need to keep network. Connect with other authors, publishers, and people in the industry. A strong network can provide invaluable opportunities and advice. So it's all about who you know. That's how I got my agent to begin with. Was I ended up calling her and saying, I sold a book, now I need an agent, which is unheard of because usually it's the other way around. And I just need to make an adjustment here, so forgive me. Okay. Yeah, that's a little... Okay, so the next bonus advice that I want to give you is digital presence. Build your online brand can make you more appealing to the publishing and help you connect directly with readers. Consider starting a blog, podcast, or YouTube channel focusing on writing tips that are relevant to your book. So that's it for today, and I want to see if there's any comments from you, which there are not. But I want to thank you for joining me. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the box. If you're just tuning in, this will be uploaded and you can watch the entire thing over again. Have an awesome day and let me know your thoughts.